Good afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter, right along with Robert Simpson. And I tell you, we got a great show tonight. We got Mark Beatty joining us. You probably have seen him on here before when he was with Redline Oil, and now he is with the PDRA. So we're going to talk a little bit to him about that transition, how that all came about, and kind of dig into the PDRA tonight, kind of talk about some of the racers, some of the programs they got coming up. And of course, their next event is the following week in Benson, North Carolina. So bear with us. We got a couple of commercials and we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline Oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline Oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at bigstuff3efi.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
We've experienced how common insurance falls short. Slow quotes, excessive exclusions, and a drawn-out claims process.
We actually use a policy that's built specifically around motorsports racing. So drag racing, circle track, and road course. We're covering the race cars, the trailers, the tools and equipment, the pit vehicles, and your motorhomes. And we cover them while they're in storage, in transit, or at the race facility itself.
Larice Motorsports Insurance, coverage built by racers for racers.
Mark, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been a little bit of time in between. The last time you were on, you were representing Redline Oil, and now you are with the PDRA. Can you tell us a little bit how that all happened? You retire from one industry and you end up in another.
Yeah. Well, first off, thanks for having me on here. And I laugh at it all the time because, let's see, when I was with Redline, I wore red shirts that had Redline Oil on it. Now I'm with the PDRA. I wear red shirts that have Redline Oil on it. There's just something underneath it now.
You can't get away. You can't get away.
It's like, talk about branding. I think it's true. I think I'm stuck forever and stuff, but no, it's cool. But seriously, thanks for having me on board. It's been interesting. I made the decision to retire from Redline on June 1st. And to be honest with you, by June 29th, I quickly realized that it was 28 days too many to be retired. So it's like, this ain't no fun. We got to do something and stuff. But no, truthfully, I'd been in conversations with Tommy and Judy Franklin, who own the PDRA. Obviously we're the title sponsor for them, so I've become very close with them, and they're simply wonderful human beings. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just phenomenal people and stuff. So, we were talking about things and trying to figure out what would it look like? How would it be? I describe it all the time as the fact that, Tommy is a racer, and everything he comes at from the racing, very successful one, by the way, and stuff like that. And then the series director, a kid by the name of Tyler Crossnow, who without a doubt is probably one of the smartest, greatest young men that I see in drag racing anywhere and everywhere. That kid just gets it. I mean, he is phenomenal, but he's also a racer. So he has the racer mentality. So when I was talking to Tommy, I says, guys, I'm going to probably come at this a little bit different. Yes, I love racing, but I'm a business guy. I look at things different. I'm going to look at things different than what you do, and so I'm going to go up to 10,000 feet, kind of look down and say, hey, what do we like? What do we not like? And what are some things that we could do and hopefully improve and grow? I mean, obviously, I think the time is right in the drag racing world for the right sanctioning body to step up, to make some moves and make some changes and do those things. And so that's kind of what drove it, is that, Tommy was like going, yeah, Mark, you know what, let's do this. Let's look at this, maybe just a little different. And I just want to clarify, it's like, there's no part of the PDRA that was broke before Mark got here, right? I mean, it's the second largest sanctioning body in drag racing. Their racing is beyond phenomenal. Most every one of their events, they've got 325 to 370 cars, coming in and stuff like that. So every aspect of it is a credit to Tommy and Tyler. I mean, they have built an incredible organization. So, I laugh. It's just like, I just don't want to be the guy that comes in there and screws that up, to be honest with you, because it's a pretty cool deal right now. So, so yeah, we're having fun, and we're just kind of looking at things and trying to put some things together and see if we can't move a couple more needles.
So what exactly are your responsibilities there right now?
Well, I came in and we just simply said that, hey, I'm part of the leadership team. Between me, Tommy, Tyler, Judy, we kind of what we decided is that let's just throw a bunch of things on the table and let's talk about it, because everybody's going to have a different thought, maybe a different opinion, and things like that. So what I'm really trying to focus on is I'll say number one is spectators. We know the product on the racetrack is phenomenal. You are not going to find better 8th mile. And I don't want to just say pro mod. I mean, obviously we love to brag about pro mods, but you go down to the Pro 632, you go down to Top Sportsman, Top Dragster, you go down to our junior categories or whatever, you are not going to find a better product on the racetrack, period, than the racers there.
Agreed. And you could tell that at y'all's last event at Thunder Valley. Oh my goodness, man. It was killer on the tree. In most cases, if you wasn't 005 or better,
you're in trouble.
You're gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it was unreal.
Yeah. And so then, I made the comment or whatever that PDRA is like the best kept secret in all the drag racing or whatever. And I'm not going to lie. I took the heat over that, but it's like, no, stop. You got to understand where I was coming from. It's not an insult to the racers. It's not an insult to any of that product or whatever, but it's just the fact that the PDRA is obviously very, very, very well known in their geographical region, right? That's the East Coast. That's kind of where they race or whatever. Well, I want to expand it beyond that. It's like, even if a person can't physically come to a race, every one of our races is broadcast on Flow. We love our partnership with Flow. But if you're not on the East Coast and you don't know who the PDRA is, then you're probably not going to tune into one of the races on Flow and stuff like that. So it's like we got to expand that messaging, expand that thinking, like I said, and obviously we want spectators in the stands, but we also want people watching on Flow, and we just want to grow our fan base.
Yeah, that you explained a lot right there.
Yeah.
Bringing in, like you said, your perspective, your experience, not only in the business but in the racing industry and stuff like that, and that's good, because Mitchell and I have talked about that not only for PDRA but just in general. It's like, what does it take? And sometimes you got to step back and take a look, not want to change the product because the product's good, just, how to get more eyes there, more appealing in some aspects. So that sounds like a very wise move. Clearly.
You hit my next question right on the head, about how important the fans' experience is, to be able to come to PDRA, and y'all are addressing it. And you're absolutely right. PDRA's product is just as good as NHRA's product. The racing's tight. It's close. Yeah, it's 8th mile, but it's still exciting to watch.
There's no question. And so it's one of those deals on the 8th mile deal. I mean, I'm in old school, and 10 years ago, if somebody would have talked to me about 8th mile racing, I was like, no, it's like, no, quarter mile only, stuff. But obviously as I'll say matured or expanded and things like that, I have become a monumental fan of 8th mile racing, because I'm telling you right now, when you come up to the line, if you don't have every aspect of your program basically perfect, you're in trouble. Like I said, not from reaction time to you name it, because everything happens so fast that there's just no margin of error. So first off, I've obviously become a huge fan of 8th mile racing now and stuff like that. And once again, no disrespect to I'll always love quarter mile. I'm one of the guys, I like the 1,000 foot, the fuel categories and stuff like that. So I'm even though I'm a diehard, I get it. I respect it. I got no problem. I love 1,000 foot racing, almost for the same reason, right? You take 320 feet off the end of that racetrack or whatever, you better have your act together. I don't care if you got, what you're driving. So, but the fans is definitely, the thing is, as you guys know, and everybody out there listening and stuff, you understand, there is no one magic answer for that. If there was one thing that we could do, every promoter in the world would have already done that, right? I mean, it's just there is no one thing. So it's like we're throwing a whole series of things. And I was talking to Tommy, before I got on the call, and so it's like Tommy and I were talking. It's like, we're going to fail way more times than we succeed. There's just no question about it. We're going to try things that we're going to look back and go, yeah, that did work, or yeah, that didn't work, or maybe this worked, or we got to tweak this, or we got to tweak that. Because it's a tough business out there. I don't care if you're into rodeo, dancing, drag racing. I mean, every single promoter out there putting on every single type of event out there simply wants the same thing: more spectators, right? I was telling you guys before, I happen to be in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee right now. First time ever. I'm down here at the Smoky Mountain Jeep Evasion and stuff like that. So really cool for me, because I'm having the opportunity to see a totally different, type of event, totally different type of everything, and kind of getting the behind the scenes and understanding of it. But, honestly, they're no different. I mean, it's clearly they're very, very participant driven. I think there's about 78 billion Jeeps down here. It's I've never seen anything like this. This is crazy. So clearly they're participant driven, but when I'm talking with them or whatever, it's the same type of deal. It's like, man, they wish that this place would be crawling with people that don't own a Jeep, because maybe they can convert somebody that's not a Jeep owner into a Jeep, or do this, or industries outside of the Jeep industry to become involved. So I don't care what you're into. We're all trying to do the same thing. We're trying to increase spectators and make things happen bigger than they are. And so, we put together a couple deals, and speaking to Tyler, it's like, we got our big race coming up in Virginia, our final race of the year. You're right. Next weekend, we're down at Galot, Benson, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Then our finals are in Virginia. We put together a program in Virginia. We called it our the PDRA Fast Pass. And it's like, you can buy a ticket for $30. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. And for $30, you can come and go all you want, any day you want, stuff, because life happens, right? Yeah, life happens. And so we know that, somebody buys a ticket, maybe something came up on Friday afternoon they weren't expecting. And it's like, oh man, I can't. Maybe go up there Friday night though for a little bit, or then I can go back out there on Saturday. So we don't care. You come and go all weekend long for you want. It's a $30 ticket. We're calling it the Fast Pass. this is one of the things that we're trying and working on. Tyler put a lot of effort into this deal, and we're excited. We're excited to see what that looks like and what that brings. None of us are fans of free tickets. It's just free tickets to an entire event. There's just no buy-in to that. So we didn't want to go that way. So we like our fast pass deal. Crystal, our ticketing gal, she put together a great program with VetTix. I think it's vettix.com. And so, we all got an education on that. She did all the research. And so what we do as a race series, we give vettix.com X amount of tickets, and they actually kind of put it up on, we'll call it an auction site, but vets and first responders, let me be clear, they're not having to buy them. It's kind of more like a timing side of things or whatever, but it gives us the opportunity to get tickets in the hands of veterans, yes, or active military, first responders and things like that. And so it gives us that path to them. And if you ever look at the vettix.com website, it's crazy how many organizations. I think it's something like, and sorry if I have this wrong, but I think it's something like they've given away almost like 3 million tickets to various events over the years or whatever. So
that's great.
Yeah, so that's another thing that we're trying to honor all the vets and active military and first responders. So that's something new for us. So just going along with that philosophy that we talked about, we're gonna throw a lot of things at the wall, and we're just gonna see, what makes sense. But we're gonna do it. I talk about Tommy all the time. Tommy is the most calculated business guy I've ever met in my life. I mean, first off, he's owned the PDRA since 14 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the man doesn't make knee-jerk decisions. He doesn't make knee-jerk changes. I mean, the PDRA has been very, very consistent in their product, in their delivery, and in their goals. And that's because that's who he is. So when I talk about throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall, trust me, none of it is knee-jerk or crazy. It's all calculated, and we're talking about it. It's all measurable. And so hopefully we can find a few things that make sense.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Yeah.
So now that you're at the Jeep show there in Pigeon Forge, have y'all thought about doing a big car show at y'all's events and charging a certain amount for them to bring their car out? They get to watch the races, and someone wins a couple of trophies at the end of the day.
Well, look, it's interesting you say that, because we were just down in Bristol, and so I got the opportunity. The same Saturday night in Bristol, the town of Bristol had their annual car show in downtown. It's all the local businesses get together. I mean, it's a really, really cool deal. I think I went live because I like all that goofy stuff. It's like I'm walking down the center of the street, and one side of me was one side was on Virginia, and the other side was on
Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah, and stuff like that. So it's like, and the funny thing was that they were selling those 50-50 raffle tickets. And the reason I brought that up is somebody says, hey, just make sure that you cannot sell these on the Tennessee side of the street. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? And that's when I learned that the street is divided, so they could sell the 50-50 raffles on the Virginia side, but they couldn't sell them on the Tennessee side because totally different laws, totally different rules, and stuff like that. And I'm like, so. But anyway, where I was going with that is that I met the people that put on that show, and it's one of the big sponsors is a local bank, a guy by the name of Mark, who's just absolutely phenomenal, just a great guy. And so we talked about that for, maybe Bristol next year is hey, why don't we, you guys give away fun awards. So maybe what we could do is take all of your award winners and invite them out to the racetrack on Saturday. We'll set up a car corral where they can put all their car shows in their show cars in that specific area. And then maybe during pre-race ceremony, we can parade them down the track, and we can talk about the car and talk about the owner and things like that. So yeah, it's one of those deals, Mitchell, where it's like, can we pull something like that off? And once again, see how it works, right? I mean, it could turn out to be totally awesome, or it could turn out to be, who knows what. But, right. When I spent a lot of time at Bannerman Speedway, that's kind of how we did things when we had our Ford event or our Chevy event or our Mopar event. It was kind of a car show drag race combo. in everything we did. And so yeah, it's not like one of the things that we've, haven't tried to figure out, hey, can we pull this off? How can we pull this off? So, yeah.
Well,
I tell you what, Mark, I will do this. If y'all put something together like that, I will pay for the top 10 that you bring in there, the top 10 cars. I'll pay for the plaques.
Oh, there you go. Very cool. All right, I'll take you up on that. That'll be awesome. I love that. And then Robert will pay them.
I'll pay the 5. He'll pay the 5. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I was gonna say, Robert will buy them all a hot dog, and you'll buy the plaques.
Hey, we'll split it.
Just ask Tommy if he's okay with it, and we'll help sponsor the plaques.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's fun because once again, it does the same thing. Is that potentially it just introduces us to some car people that maybe wouldn't have come to a PDRA event without something like that. And so yeah, Mitchell, you get it. So Robert, you guys get what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
we just need to expand. We've spent so much time talking to the people that are coming in the back gate, right? And we just haven't had the time to talk to people to get them to come in the front gate and stuff. And so that's what we're going to try and work on, is just things to let's balance them out. Let's see if we can't do some things and stuff like that. So it's, like I said, it's going to take it's going to take 1,000 efforts, and you hope at the end of the day that maybe 5 of them work,
right?
Because the vast majority of them probably aren't going to move the needle enough. Doesn't mean they're a bad idea, but they're probably not going to move the needle enough to where it's the manpower or whatever it takes to pull that off. So,
you're playing a percentage.
Yeah. But, and go ahead.
But like we were when we interviewed Leslie Horn, for example, Southeast Gassers Association.
Yeah.
One of their big events they go to, or they have, is in Gulfsport. As you know, they attend typically more smaller tracks. They like that tighter feel, 8th mile tracks, which you get it because that's the vibe of their series. But one of the events they go to is a Gulfsport race, and it's the same time they're doing Cruising the Coast.
Yes.
So he says it is insane. He said the first time we did it, because we didn't even remember Cruising the Coast was going on. It just happened to fall that way. He said to say it was standing room only is insane. He goes, it was crazy. So not that you are going to change your schedule around that, but if you decide to expand out to another track, I'm assuming in the vicinity, but a little farther west, perhaps things will work out where there's a big festival or big something, natural attraction there happening at the same time.
Yeah, there's no question about it. That's always a huge point. And you bring up the South Gassers Association. Do you know very many of those folks at all? Do you guys follow? Okay, so is there a car that's the I hope I say the Rocky Top Missile or this? And I guess he was a champion of something. Okay, so the craziest thing is the hotel I'm staying at here in Pigeon Forge or whatever. I go to the front counter and needed an energy drink, before I get on the show. And so I'm talking to the gal, and she figures out that I'm into drag racing. She says, well, my dad's a gasser racer. He runs in the Southeast or Gasser Association. Right. She whips out a picture of him in the car, and he's holding a big old trophy and stuff like that. I'm like going, what a small world.
Right.
That's freaking crazy. But I think she said the car's like a Rocky Top Missile or Smoky Mountain Missile or something like that.
What kind of car is it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She showed me a picture on her cell phone, and it is hard for me to tell, but it looked like maybe it was a Falcon.
I was thinking Falcon or Fairlane.
Like a 664, like a 64, 65-ish.
I've seen that car before.
Yeah, okay. And I thought it was just like, oh man, that's just too funny. That's too cool. But
well, we could definitely find it because we talked to them and not only Leslie but all the Platts and all those guys. We keep up with them. So yeah, we'll definitely give a shout out to them.
And then on another thing, it's like Lyle Barnett. Obviously, very, very, very popular pro mod racer and stuff. Lyle reached out to me after Bristol and he's like, "Oh, hey, Mark," he says, "You know what? I want to figure out, can we do a program to where we can get high school kids, maybe part of their STEM program or something like that, when they're in school to come out on Friday Friday mornings. And so it's all right, Lyle, let's talk to me, tell me what you're thinking or whatever. And so I'm telling you, Lyle is just, man, what a wonderful human being. He has grabbed this deal and he is championing it. We came up with we're going to call it the Ignite program, and stuff like that. And so we're just working on it. And for Lyle, he says, the key is, Mark, he says, I don't want to bring a bunch of high school kids and put them in some tent and have them listen to a bunch of stiffs talk for an hour or 2 hours and not really see any racing action. So, we're talking about, well, okay, we can bring them in, we can do an introduction, we can sit down, but then our plan is to take race teams and actually divide the kids up, and the kids are going to go to the pit area with that race team, and they're going to watch them do all of the prep work and all the work and stuff like that. And then the kids are going to go up to the starting line for Q1 with that car and with that team.
I love
stuff.
it.
So they're going to be very, very actively involved in all aspects of that. So it's one of those deals where it's not a done deal. We're definitely working on logistics and we're working on some ideas, but my hat's off to Lyle Barnett, because he's one of those guys that's saying, hey, Mark, I want to grab a hold of the rope as well. I want to help. I want to do something. I want to see what we can do. And that's simply what it's going to take. It's going to take all of us saying, hey, let's just grab this deal and let's see if we can't do it differently.
Yeah, Lyle's a great ambassador of the sport. And I tell you what, he done pretty well 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he did. I loved his quote that he said. I don't want to say it because I know I don't have it memorized or whatever. But he missed the tree, and he admitted that he put some delay in it and kind of missed the tree and got his butt whooped, stuff like that. But he was talking about, it's like going, yeah, you're gonna come racing the PDRA. You're coming to a gunfight,
right?
It's like yeah.
I think Competition Plus wrote about that.
Yeah,
he was Competition Plus.
Yeah,
wrote an article on that statement that he made.
You just go look. You just go look at the breakdown, ladies and gentlemen, of the last race at Bristol. And I mean, when you start seeing Pro Nitrous hits harder on the tree, but when you see Pro Boost, when you see Pro Boost having a 362 to a 362, okay, and a 006 to a 13 on the light, and I'm like going, these are turbo cars primarily. Now there's blower cars in there too, but these are turbo cars, which means they bump in, and I'm like going, oh my goodness, it was like a top bulb race. It's what it looked like, and that was just an example there in the course 632 and Super Street and all the breakdown. It's really, really good competition. And Mark, just so you know, I'm going to text you after this because I got an idea or a contact that I want to share with you go along with another idea Mitchell and I were talking about with vocational schools.
Oh, okay. I love it. I love it.
Okay, with not a school itself, but with somebody that's trying to get involved for vocational schools.
Man, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Y'all might be in contact with them, but I'll share after. I just didn't want to share it out here for this second.
And I've reached out to a couple of my contacts. I mean, obviously, all of these things require just bottom line. They require money, right? Because they require either manpower or they require things. I mean, we obviously want to feed the kids. When they get there, we need to do this, we need to do that. So I've definitely reached out to some of my contacts or whatever, kind of teased them with it and said, hey, here's the program we're doing. And to be honest with you, we could probably use a little bit of support, so where the thing makes sense or whatever. So that's when I said, the concept and the idea, I mean, there's no convincing of that. We just have to make sure that we bring in the economic side of things and the feasibility, because what I don't want to do is to invite a bunch of kids out there and it be amateur hour or it be halfway done. I mean, Lyle Barnett deserves better than that, right? Lyle Barnett, because he's championed this deal. He deserves a supporting cast around him that it's done right. Something
the young people deserve better than that too.
Do you think it's possible that y'all could probably write some senators and congressmen and possibly get some grant money to help fund something like that?
We talked about that behind, and there could very well be, because I think there's a huge initiative in this world, and we all realize is the fact that if we don't start teaching some of our younger generation that there's work out there other than on a computer, we're all in really big problems. I mean, you got to, you look at, maybe auto manufacturers, the dealerships need technicians, we need welders, we need all kinds of different things. So lots of vocational opportunities. And it's like, okay, so how can we maybe help solve that problem or bring somebody in that we're kind of bridging that gap for them and things like that. So yeah, it's all part of what we're talking about.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mark, when after y'all get all of that done and put together, I would love to have that information so we can share it on the page, because I really think it's a good idea. I mean, even now, just going by construction sites, you see older people out there doing construction.
Yeah.
None of the younger people want.
Yeah. And what happens when they can't anymore, and things like that. Built. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, it's so yeah, I will. I'll keep you in the loop. I mean, obviously it's something that I work on, try and work on every day, just kind of tweaking this and adjusting that and things like that. But, once again, it's just, I want to make sure that Lyle Barnett, this is all that guy. He is, oh my gosh, he is phenomenal. I get the chance to talk about it, but man, I can't say enough what a great guy he is.
Funny story. So I interviewed him at ZMAX at I think there was spring race, and when I brought him on and introduced him, I said, "This is Lyle Barnett. If a wheelbarrow had a motor in it, he could drive it to victory lane."
Yeah.
He about busted out laughing.
he told me that so far in 2026, he has made over 300 passes in 16 different vehicles.
I believe that.
Think about that for a second. And they're in probably 12 different categories. I'm guessing on or whatever. It's not like 16 different pro mods. I mean, he's like small tire, big tire, this tire, that, it's just
trucks.
And it's yeah. And you got to think about that for a second. It's just like Lyle. And man, we need to tell that story. You need to let me see if I can't get Flo, and at our next race, we need to tell that story because dude, you're in rare air, with that.
And he wants to drive a fuel car if the opportunity arises. But I want to see him in the Alter. He said he wants to drive a fuel Alter. I want to see Wildman, because he'd be like a new Porsche. Yeah. Wild Willie. He could be,
I want to see him teamed up with Scott Palmer and drive a top fuel car. Simply because I don't care I don't care if he doesn't even do a burnout. All I care about is how much fun we're going to have until they start that car. Scott Palmer and Lyle Barnett together. It's like you could sell admission just to that.
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
there's going to be some throttle wax.
Oh my gosh, there's going to be a lot of things. Stuff. Yeah. There's freaking no doubt about that.
His dad leaning over on the wall, shaking his head, going,
that'd be worth the price of admission just watching those two guys, and stuff. So that'd be kind of fun.
That'd be some good things. Now I tell you, I wanted to before we got a little farther, I wanted to share with you and compliment the Franklins with PDRA that one thing y'all have really done with the associate, and it showed. You've been very, very consistent. You've built a foundation and you've built from it, but you haven't made wild swings. And I'm not just saying currently, obviously, what's going on in the racing news, but I'm saying you haven't made wild swings on changing the rules and going one extreme to the other. You haven't done that. You've been very consistent, and it's shown. It's grown, and it's putting out a very, very good product. So, because I was going through the rules again and stuff, different ones for Pro Street. You have options for just about anything. For heads-up racing, small tire, big tire, and that's really a great thing. So it's a very fair playing field, and I'm sure there's certain times of the year that if you need to address something, obviously make a little tweak here and there. It's part of it.
Yeah, we tweak all the time, but that goes back to Tommy's leadership. That's who Tommy is. Like I said, no knee-jerk and stuff, and then also it's Tyler. Tyler Crossnow is just simply a young man that gets it. I mean, just plain and simple. I mean, it's just he's grown up in the sport. He's done about everything imaginable, from track prep to tower work to CompuLink to this, He just gets it. And so Tyler's the exact same way. It's like he doesn't go crazy. He doesn't knee jerk. He doesn't panic over anything. It's kind of like, yeah, I've been there, done that. Here's what we did last time. Let's just do this. Let's just do this. Because I got a chance to watch him in the tower, a lot in Bristol or whatever and stuff. And it's just Tyler being Tyler, which is a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, he's got enough experience, been there, done that, and it keeps it calm.
And he's got the right personality for it. He's got everything. He's got everything right, and he has done a phenomenal job of surrounding himself with the right people. Over everything from the starters to the water box people to the track prep people and stuff like that. He's constantly tweaking and adjusting baby steps, but he's done a phenomenal job of surrounding himself with the right people, because it's just, once again, it's who he is. He's a credit to the sport.
Yeah, when we talked to him and interviewed him, like you said, I mean, he's very mature, but a wealth of knowledge, but he came across very level-headed.
Yeah, very much so.
And I was like going, well, I like this. I definitely want to go to an event, and see how things go. So that's on our upcoming schedule, isn't it, Mitchell? We were talking about that today, and it's like many places that we want to attend, and some people are asking us to go here or go there. Yeah. And you know how it is with work.
Oh my gosh.
work. We have to tell everybody we have two jobs.
Yeah.
The one that brings home the money and keeps the lights on, and the other one is
we do for fun.
That we have, but we love it. It's a lot of fun. It really doesn't feel like a job.
Yeah. Amen.
Until you're working on 2 hours sleep, for 2 days, and all about that. And oh my goodness. But
yesterday I had to get up at 3 a.m. Omaha time to get here to Pigeon Ford or whatever and forge, and we were up until 10:30 or 11. It's like going, okay, you guys don't understand how old I am. we gotta here, look at my driver's license. We got a major problem.
You're like street lights on.
Mark can't do this no more. It's like, come on.
But the sun cracking, you're up there staring at them going, let's go, sunshine, and they're like going, no. Yeah. But that's good. Now tell us something. Do you obviously, pie in the sky, I'd love to do everything, but do you think possibly in the future PDRA might want to expand classes or have like a special race, a couple classes added to special races, for example, like factory shootout cars or something like that? Or
right now the big thing right now is we got a bunch of guys. They got Mountain Motor Pro stocks. Mm-hmm. IHRA's kind of going away. They can't race there. They're not racing them in the NHRA. And so they don't have a home to race. And so I've been talking to Keith Killing. You probably know Keith. About some opportunities of maybe hitting some night of fires. I was like, you could still run a structural race program with points, and you can piggyback with the tracks on their night of fire nights and run 8th mile and be able to do points. But I think they are kind of looking for a home, because those classification of the cars, the way they're set up, you really can't run them in any other class.
No, they're pretty much purpose built. There's no question about that. Plus, even if they weren't, that's such a diehard group that I'm not sure that they would ever really consider coloring outside the lines of where they're at and what they are. And so, I mean, obviously the Mountain Motor Pro Stock category has come up, in various conversations with us and stuff like that. And so I think I'll just stop right there now.
Okay.
So like I said, no, because it's just a lot to that. But on the bigger side of things, are we talking about looking at, are there other classes, are there other things or whatever? One of the things that we always kind of judge that by a little bit or whatever is length of show for us. I think all of drag racing struggles with that tremendously, right? Because when we're talking about trying to grow our fan base and trying to expand things here or whatever, I mean, right now, if you go to any drag race, I mean, you go to a PDRA race, we run our eliminations on Saturday. We have opening ceremony at 11 o'clock in the morning. Well, 10 o'clock at night, we're still racing. So you're 11 hours into a day, and we might be, if weather's cooperated and no oil downs and things like that, we might be running our finals type of deal. So what we sometimes get concerned about is that if you try and add to that, you really only have a couple of options, right? You're either going to do a series of eliminations on Friday, which means that racers are going to get there, maybe test on Wednesday, maybe qualify on Thursday. And if you lose first round or second round or whatever the case, you're going home Friday. And so it's like, all right, so typically speaking, the one that affects the most is like maybe the bracket bash cars, maybe top sportsman, top dragster, things like that. So then it's like going, how fair is that to them, right? And so it might be a necessary evil, but it's not a decision that we're going to take lightly, right? I mean, we're not going to just make those decisions. So every time we talk about adding this or adding that, I had Darren Mayer from DMPE, the supercharger guy or whatever, he reached out to me. I mean, great friend of mine. He's kind of saying the same thing. Hey, we got these factory stock cars, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. And it's, I love the guy. And I'm like, Darren, I appreciate that. I mean, it gets brought up all the time, when the NMCA went away, look at all the racers in the different categories there. They need a place to race and stuff. So, So we just we listen and we talk about that, and it's like we've even started talking about making a different series, having two different. Say that. We've talked about a PDRA East and a PDRA let's call it West.
That's exactly
and
what I was
and maybe the PDRA West. And seriously, I am just spitballing, but maybe we don't run class X and Y at a West event because we're going to bring in these categories instead, and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing that we haven't talked about and looked at, and then you look at the calendar and it's just like going, well, it's pretty tough to think that we're going to pull that off for 2027 because we're running out of days. You're running out of opportunities for schedule things, but then it's like me and Tommy were talking about on the phone call. It's like, man, the time is now. I mean, the sport needs somebody to step up and somebody to do things right. So it's like there may never be another time like this in our lifetime.
Yep.
Right.
If
you
to do things
there, because you can actually look at the demographics of the racers out west, what kind of cars they are racing.
Yeah.
That they might not have on the East Coast, and you give them an opportunity to race in a series there, and it makes a lot of sense.
The 235 Outlaws, they run out at Vegas and stuff like that. So I say Vegas, Bakersfield, Seattle. That's the three that comes to mind. Logistics wise,
And let's face it, in all reality, you're not going to have a pro mod show at those events. There's just no pro mods there, so it's like, well, okay, so be it, right? And stuff like that.
Exactly.
So yeah, there's so many opportunities and so many options out there, and we're just trying to make sure that we do things calculated way and a smart way, because we don't ever want to risk damaging what we have right now. Right. You don't want to mess that up and stuff, nor do you want to ignore it. Right. It's like I said, I talk about my eyeballs maybe on the front gate. Well, don't ever make that assumption that we don't care about the back gate. I mean, we're never not going to care about the back gate. It's just like if somebody like me could come in and maybe shift focus to the front gate and let Tommy and Tyler stay concentrated on the back gate. We're working on all those things because we don't want to take any steps backwards. Our whole goal is how can we improve this deal and how can we expand it?
Agreed.
Well, I got another question for you. You've been in marketing for many, many years, and with your expertise, sorry, got tongue twisted. Are y'all looking for adding new marketing partners for the PDRA?
I want I want a non-automotive major player in the PDRA, and once again, I mean, and hopefully people know me well enough by now. I mean, absolutely no disrespect to any sponsor we have right now that's in the automotive world or whatever. So when I make a statement like that, it's not taking anything away from them. I just think once again, with my vision, trying to introduce us to new people, new places, new demographics, I think a non-automotive major player in the PDRA would go a long way to do just that. And it's like, I don't want to pretend to know anything about how the Mission Foods deal came along to the NHRA, but I've been in this industry long enough to know that is one of the greatest things that ever happened to the NHRA. No disrespect to Winston, to Coca-Cola, to Powerade or anything like that. But when the NHRA managed to get Mission Foods, a non-traditional, whatever, to be a title sponsor of their program, look at the opportunities it opened up for them at retail locations, at grocery store chains, and all that other type of stuff that they would have never, ever had the ability to get to. And so I don't have to be a genius to look at that and kind of go, yeah, you know what, that's probably not a bad plan and stuff. So that's one of the things I'm working on. I'm doing a lot of talking with non-automotive businesses and companies and saying, hey, is there a fit here? Is there an opportunity there? Is there a ticketing program, possibly we can do, and things like that. So yeah, I think you have to. I think you always have to look at how can you expand that and change that around. And once again, and to never take advantage or disrespect the ones that you have now.
Agreed.
Because we would be lost without them, and we love all of them. I mean, obviously, I can speak from both sides of the fence on that. I never want to do anything to lose Redline Oil. I'm beyond proud that it's the Redline Oil PDRA, obviously. And right. So anything we're talking about, it's like, no, we're not looking to replace anybody, any way, any shape, any form. We just want to add to it.
Agreed. Yeah. That's very well said. Very well put. And we agree, because it's a large world, and there's so many companies that are directly or indirectly associated through racing and automotive just in general. And Mitchell and I, we've met a lot of people, and as you know, Mark, we like talking to people and interviewing people and telling their story. A lot of people that we go to interview them and are like going, why me? Who am I? And are like going, well, you have a story, and a really cool story, and then we'll use the car as the connection, you know what I mean, to start the conversation. Then kind of find out, well, they've been a car owner for 7 world champions. You know what I mean? They've got their two-time world champion themselves. They got more national event wins than you can shake a stick at. Not Dan Fletcher, but you get my point. You know what I mean? And on and on and on. But if you did not know this person, you just walked up, they don't talk about themselves. Nothing. You would not know this. You wouldn't know that they own 7 businesses. You know what I mean?
That's
and,
exactly
and he
right.
goes, man, do you know I paved this track? No, I had no idea you paved that. That kind of thing. So everybody's got a great story to share, and you just never know.
And I think one thing that, Joe Costello brought up, and I think it was a very good point, that everyone who races, it doesn't matter if you're in the sportsman categories or not, you need to put your picture up and have a little bio on the side and put in there what your wins and stuff. So when people see you on your Facebook page, you're marketing yourself for people to see you and what you have accomplished.
If we had more storytellers, and stuff, and it's one of the ones where when Max Naylor calls me, we talk about that all the time, and he starts talking about announcers and announcing and things like that, and he's really adamant. He says, from Max Naylor's point of view, he's like, what drives him crazy is when announcers, basically read numbers off the screen, reaction time, 60-foot time, blah blah blah, and he says that stuff's on a broadcast, or that stuff's on TV, or that stuff is on their app. You don't have to read that stuff. People are reading it themselves. Announcers need to be a storyteller. Tell the story of the person in that car tell the story of this or that. Like you said, that, hey, this person just resurfaced this racetrack, or this person just did that, or whatever. And he's not wrong, right? I mean, the more stories that we can tell about the sport we love, the more relatable it comes. Because you know what, maybe a person listening isn't a diehard drag racer, but maybe they work for a paving company, and now all of a sudden I got something in common with that guy. That guy has a paving company, so you know what, I'm going to root for him the next time he comes up because we're in the same business.
Exactly.
You know, type of deal and stuff. And so, like I said, Max is not wrong. It's just tell your story.
Yeah. Well, we have an announcer that we work with majority of the time when we live stream races and stuff at Gainesville and for some of the big money races out there, and that's Derek Putnam. And Derek Putnam, he is really good about telling the history of the cars as they come up. And I mean, he's just like he's an encyclopedia for cars. He can tell you how many were made, what trends. I mean, he's just like that. It's all embedded in his brain.
And like I said, and that's a gift, you know, and stuff. And so it's just you know, I announced for many years, and it's, you know, announcing is not as easy as people think, you know, and it's like I knew my limitations when I announced. Sorry, I'm the guy that has to read the numbers. I just do because I'm not that storyteller, and even if I was always paranoid that I'd cuss over the PA system. So you know, just drop the F-bomb.
You don't have your own bleep button up there. You just sense it coming.
You remember that guy's name by the name of Mark who used to announce for us? He doesn't announce for us no more.
You know, he's the one out there doing the walk of shame, going his car.
Exactly.
But yeah, just like you said on the storytelling, like I told Mitchell, I'm working on a video this past weekend. I was at the Tri-Fi Nationals in Bowling Green, the largest 55 through 7 gathering. Mark, you would love it. Over 3,000 cars, drag racing, car show, you name it, and it's in Bowling Green. It's at Beach Bend. You can't get a better setting. Met some brothers there. Had a black 55 out of Oregon. Okay, and I'm like, you came all the way to Kentucky? And you're like going, yeah, and they're so low key. And they're like, yeah, and it's like, so you look at their car, it looks all steel. It's got a glass front. Anyway, 10.5-inch tire, blown 540, 1471. Methanol, mechanical fuel injection, Crowler clutch, and a 4-speed Linko on a 10.5 with a stock frame. Okay,
cool car.
Oh, exactly. Had no side and back windows in it, and he said this is only my 10th run on the car. He said we did 3 passes at home, and he goes, I ended up doing a 799, the quarter mile. He goes, before we loaded up and head this way. And he goes, we're still learning it. And I said, why did you build it? He goes, it's just cool. That was his answer. He said, this was my street car a year ago. He goes, me and my brother driving around. He goes, my brother's like going, I'd like to do something fun with it. It's like, yeah, me too. He goes, and I pushed it in the garage. And I come back a week later, and he's putting a cage in it. And he says, and it just steamrolled. And I'm like, that's cool. That's literally their answer.
That's a story, right?
Exactly. And he goes, that's their answer. He goes, it's just cool. And I'm like, it's like, I can't disagree. So that video is coming up soon. But
and I think it's just important that, I mean, if we could all educate, more and more racers, young and old, it's like, look, just help us tell the story. Help us tell your version of the story, because to you, it's just normal, blah, who am I? But you just don't know whose ears it might fall on. It might be life-changing. It might be relatable. It might be encouraging. You just don't really know. And I get it. A lot of people are very, very private, don't want to tell their story. And I respect that. But I think the more we could get people, like Joe Costello says, put your story out there and stuff, because you just never know. So
and
it's crazy.
Now, can we help y'all a lot more by reaching out and try to get some of y'all's racers on our podcast?
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that offline, because absolutely, I would love that, because we have, we're beating a dead. We have some phenomenal racers and some great personalities and stuff like that, and I would love to do that. So maybe we'll compare some names and talk about some things and get some, a few different categories and things like that in there, whatever. It'd be fun to get some of the younger ones on and things like that. But yeah, I always love sending people your way. I think I've sent a few you in the past, and it's just because once again we all win. There's no losers when we do that. There's none.
Right.
The racer wins. You guys win. The industry wins. The PDRA will win. So yeah, I'm all about that. So
well, I know every time y'all put y'all's flyers up for y'all's events, I take them and I'll put them on our site to just push it as much as possible that someone goes across it and sees it and says, "Oh, that's only 20 minutes from the house. I think I'll go check that out."
Yeah, just don't ever post any of my failures, okay? That's my only request.
No.
There might be a few of them coming down the pike, so just be kind.
Now, Mark, good and well, and Mitchell agrees with me on this. You have a good name and a good reputation in your field. Okay, many people that we talk to behind the scenes, other events and stuff like that, when your name is mentioned, it's always mentioned out of respect. And rightfully so. You've earned that. You've worked hard for that. And so it's really good to talk, to somebody like that again.
And the truth of the matter is, it's just bearing my soul. It's because I'm honored. I'm honored to call the people friends that I have in this industry. I'm honored to watch them race. It's like when a Jason Harris or Fletcher Cox comes up to me in the staging line. I'm like a friggin' school kid. I'm seriously. I mean, I'm not acting. It's just like you have no idea. I mean, it's even Tommy Franklin, who's now my boss. When Tommy Franklin will come up and talk to me, I'm like going, man, how friggin' cool is this? Tommy Franklin knows my name. I mean, and it's just simply the truth. It's just I am so honored. To have these opportunities, and it's all out of respect, and so it's authentic, and so it matters to me. And thank you for saying that, because that makes me happy, because it's not an act to me. It's man, I'm just honored to be here. I'm honored to be on your guys' show, to know you guys. We can laugh about things, joke about things, and you guys have no idea how cool it is to me. I mean, it matters. So
yes, it does.
Well, you mentioned one of those gentlemen that I would love to have on our show, and that's Fletcher Cox, because I wanted to talk about a little bit about his football background, playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a Cowboys fan, but I always liked watching.
Well, you just screwed that up.
I know, right? I was like, why is he bring that up now?
I always like Fletcher playing his position in football. I mean, just because I just don't look at the team when they play another team. I look at the individual players and how they present themselves on the field.
Right.
And stuff. And I've always liked his feel of play when he played football. And, he's an avid hunter. I mean, he goes all over the place, all over the world, and he hunts. And, he started out in drag racing while he was still playing with the Philadelphia Eagles. And now he's racing with y'all at PDRA. It's just a really great story to ask questions about.
Yeah,
I want to see the car. I want to see how that big of a man. I know he's slimmed up some, but that big of a man get in that car. I mean,
I could lay down in it and not even touch the pedals.
I was getting ready to say, Mark. I mean, that's a big man. I mean, he's covering up a lot of real estate in that car.
Yeah, and, just give me a pillow. I'm going to sleep here tonight, Fletcher. See you in the morning.
I'll be here.
I'm a Cowboys fan. We'll just leave that out.
Yeah, just leave
it out.
If
I have any Cowboy stuff, I'll make sure I move it.
You'll slip it out, Mitchell. I know you will. You're gonna
he'll laugh at it, so it's all right.
Oh,
but yeah, we'll work on all those things. But anyway, guys, thank you. I mean, I can't thank you enough. It's an honor and it's a privilege, and we're gonna get you guys to a PDRA race, and we're gonna have some fun.
Yes. Do y'all need more of a digital presence from people like us coming out taking pictures?
Always. Hello.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay, because we
tell the story.
We've had some resistance on some situations, not from y'all, but we've had.
No, I understand.
But we, I get it. People got their thing. Now, how can everybody how they could follow you, both PDRA and get a hold of you whenever they want to come on board?
No problem. PDRA website is PDRA660.com. Somebody once asked me what the 660 stood for.
Hello.
Eighth mile.
What's half of a quarter mile?
Yeah. but to my point, it was funny. It's because they weren't a diehard.
They didn't know.
They weren't a diehard drag race person. So
the good thing is they asked.
I answered it with an honor, because it was like, okay, Bert, you know what? That is a great question and stuff like that. But PDRA660.com. You'll see our schedule. We got a contact us page there or whatever. My email's there. Send out a message. I love to talk to anybody and everybody. Whatever. I don't. What you see is what you get when it comes to me. So
That's true.
True. So I'm game. But yeah, you can follow us on social media, PDRA Racing on Facebook, and just check us out. That's my only request for everybody is, if you don't have a Flow subscription, look, I get it. It's $150 or something like that, and not minimizing. Some people sometimes in life it's a lot of money, but a lot of times, you'll blow that one night at a bar, and stuff.
Right.
But support Flow, because all of racing needs Flow. And then tune into one of our races. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, Flow does a wonderful job, not just y'all, but
they do.
My nephew, he races in the ZMAX Cars Tour part-time, and of course that's where we have to go to watch him race is at Flow. And they do a great job announcing even the circle track stuff as well.
It's tough. It's not as easy as what everybody thinks. And I know in this day and age, everybody thinks that I got a cell phone camera and I can talk, so I can stream or broadcast a race anywhere or whatever, stuff like that. And once again, not making fun, but the amount of behind the scenes work that it actually takes to try and put on a deal, and stuff like that. Flow is, and they'll say it all the time. They don't pretend to be perfect. They've made mistakes here and there, and they fix them and they adjust them and they get better and better and better. So we love our relationship with them. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to put the schedule up right there.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Come out and see us or watch us on Flow. We'd love to have you. But guys, seriously, thank you. We'll be in touch. We'll talk about getting some guys on the show and gals on the show. Okay.
Sounds great.
Sounds good, Mark.
All right.
Hope you have a good night, buddy. Take care. Bye.
I tell you what, I think that was probably one of the best things Tommy Franklin did was reach out to Mark, bring him in, brilliant mind. Take a look back, and sometimes we have to do that. Even here on the Spot Motorsports Media, sometimes we have to take a back seat, look how everything is going, see where we need to make corrections, make things better. And I tell you what, watching Flow and watching the PDRA race there at Thunder Valley was awesome. Some of the best racing I have ever seen was taking place, not just in the pro and a nitrous pro mod class, but all the way down.
I tell you, I did not get a chance to watch it live. Okay, and I will go back and watch some more. But I was looking over all the literature of all the breakdowns of the runs. Okay, the reaction to the qualifying. First of all, like in was it Pro Nitrous or Pro Boost? It was 1/10 difference in qualifying, 361 to a 371 in the 16 cars in the 8th mile. Okay, and then as you're going through and looking at eliminations, Mitchell was right. I mean, it wasn't like just one good tree. Okay, every once in a while somebody missed, but a missed tree was like a 50. Okay, that was a missed tree. Everything else consistently was quicker than that reaction time. And you could tell when you had especially two hitters going after each other. I mean, there was several runs. There was a fella in the quarterfinal or semifinals, perfect light, had a perfect light. And I'm like going, okay. And I don't remember if he had the other fella covered, but it was like within 100.
Better bring your A game. That's all I got to say. Even all the way down to the bracket class that they hold, which is pretty dang neat.
Yes, it is.
There's some short reaction times there as well.
Oh, of course. That's where typically it shines more than the professional class as far as reaction times. That's kind of a given. But just in general, it's some really, really good racing, tight racing, close racing. And before you think, oh, it's an 8th mile, whatever like that, hey, racing's racing. Okay, when you have a good race, it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, it could be fast cars, it could be slow cars. If it's a good race, it's a good race. And I say that they've put the proofs in the pudding, and they've put a really, really good product out there. So like Mitchell and I were talking before, ladies and gentlemen, is we are truly, sincerely trying to look at possibly next year going to a PDRA race. It's just hard with our work schedules trying to juggle where we can and can't go and taking care of family. Everybody understands that. But there's a lot of places that we want to go to.
Well, and the good thing is, right now the races are on the East Coast, up and down the East Coast, and so that makes it not as hard to get to some of the events. You look at Virginia, Benson, Bristol's a little bit of a ride, but
it's about 10
fly
hours.
and drive there.
Yeah.
You'd save on time to get there and have more time there at Bristol instead of just getting there and having to turn around and come back in a day or so.
Oh, agreed. And like Mitchell and I was talking, and ladies and gentlemen, we've been telling before that I was planning on going to this coming week, not this week, but the following week, to the Lucas Oil Race in Division 3 at Bowling Green and for the double for the Sports Nationals. Plan on attending it. Well, found out yesterday that through my work scheduling that I have not been approved to go. And finding out that other colleagues are out. So basically, I'm not going to be able to attend due to work. And I mean, it is what it is, and there's no one more disappointed than me. But it is what it is. But the good thing is, Mitchell, he will be attending the U.S. Nationals Indy race the week following. And we have some other races in mind to attend to. We're gonna keep that close to us.
Yeah, got some stuff coming up in Orlando. We got some races coming up that will be live streaming.
Yep.
So we're as we get closer to the end of the year, we really get busy.
Yeah, buddy. And I tell you, being in the middle of summer, there's still a lot of racing going on as long as the weather stays clear. It's like this past week, I was in Bowling Green at the Tri-5 event, as we've mentioned before, and hopefully you're following along on the Spot Motorsports Media on our pages and YouTube pages, our page to see some of the action. And it was a really great show, ladies and gentlemen. But just like down here in Florida and probably anywhere you're at that listen to this, it was hot. I mean, heat index well over 100 every day, and one day it hit 110 heat index, and there was some people that partially fell out. They're okay, but the heat got to them. But really good event, great people. We have some other interviews lining up from that, and can't wait to go back next year. So we got some other plans here that on the spot. Going to possibly get involved with a couple of things with them next year. But I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is a great event. But also I want to tell everybody, thank y'all for following us on our both Facebook page. We're really close to hitting 29, I think. We're really close to
getting really close to 29,000.
And we thank you, everybody.
28,000.
Okay. Well, 29 is right behind it. Okay. 28,000 on Facebook. And also for our YouTube page, gradually growing, Instagram page, Spotify, slowly but gradually growing. So we appreciate everybody that follows along, comments, reaches out to us. Also, remember, just like Mitchell and Mark were talking about, if you have somebody that you would think would be good for us to talk to, potentially interview or things like that, reach out to us. Give us a name, give us a contact, and we'll talk to them and see about them coming on. Because we absolutely love to, and it doesn't necessarily have to be drag racing only. It could be other sports. I mean, personally, I like to talk to somebody in tractor pulling. I would like to talk to somebody in tractor pulling. I like to talk. Well, we've talked to land speeding before, but super late models, sprint car. Would love to talk to some people like that and learn more about those racing organizations and things like that.
Well, of course, this is the part that we're getting ready to close down the show. And, we couldn't do this without our marketing partners. We mentioned, having Mark on tonight and him being part of Redline Oil. He was one of the first that set us up with Redline Synthetic Oil as our first marketing partner. And I really appreciate Mark reaching out and becoming partners with us, with a great company. Not only do they a marketing partner of ours, but we use their products in our cars. And I tell you what, I couldn't ask for a better product to use.
Agreed. wonderful product. And then also to our partners, Scorpion Racing Products, made right here in Florida. American-made products for all your rocker arm needs. They handle everything from all your different engine platforms. They are racers for racers. Like I said, they handle all the design development, and right now they're currently working with some engine builders on the development of some new shaft rocker designs for some different cylinder heads. So that's going to be forthcoming. But I tell you, we want to appreciate everybody there at Scorpion Racing Products for everything that they do.
And also Big Stuff Total Power Management. I tell you what a great company. Not only do they sell their parts, through them, but they also sell them through JEGS. But they also have seminars to help educate you on how to use their equipment. And I tell you, some of their setups that they have at PRI, you have to stop by their booth this December. Check them out. They're always coming out with new gadgets. Last year we were introduced to the weather station that you can use, and it plugs in right to your dash, and you can see real timing of what's going on. The temperature, humidity, all the different levels that we use to make calculations before we make our runs. Go check them out at Big Stuff, Total Power Management.
And then also we want to thank GRE Signs. They're handling all our stickers and business cards, and they're working on our new shirt designs. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen. On the Spot Motorsports Media will have some shirts available here for you to purchase and to wear proudly. But GRE can handle all your graphics needs, all your wraps, and everything like that. They're located here in Central Florida, and they currently handle Kingsville Raceway, South Georgia, and a couple other tracks doing all their graphics. And boy, are they some busy people. So if you have any graphic needs for whatever, business, racing, whatever you need, reach out to GRE.
Hey, and if you can't pick it up, don't worry. They can ship it to you.
Absolutely.
And also Larice Motorsports Insurance. I tell you what a great company. You don't want to get caught into something that you can't replace. It's like your hauler, your trailer, the contents in it, your race car. They have different types of categories that you can cover different things. But I tell you what, it's kind of hard to replace some of that stuff. So, when it comes to money. So reach out to Larice Motorsports Insurance and see how they can get you covered before tragedy hits you.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, as we're closing up the show, I wanted to thank all those people that work with us. We got some upcoming plans and marketing partners to hopefully announce here pretty soon once we get some things nailed down. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for following Mitchell and I along, and also continue to read the articles. Mitchell is putting out a lot of fantastic articles. So follow along as he's covered everything going on in the racing world. And as we're bringing other interviews and other videos and all these things, just continue to follow along, and we appreciate everything that everybody does for us.
Yeah, I never knew I would write this much after school.
You see, the difference is you like this. That's
I like this. Yeah, I didn't like what I had to write in school.
You choose to do this. You know what I mean? I love doing interviews with people in the field. So, that's I love doing that. So it's a good fit. It really is.
So again, everyone, thank you, and we will see you next time. Please stay tuned to the page of upcoming guests, and of course, this weekend, Brainer. We will bring you and post all the results from qualifying, and probably will dabble into announcing some upsets here and there on Sunday. We really don't like to announce too much. We don't want to ruin someone's day who wants to watch it on TV. So we try to refrain as much as possible on Sundays with that. But again, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and have a good night.
Take care.